Now across the country, this has become an issue that is really challenging. I would say it's a crisis when it comes to the people who are coming into our courts and who are served by our courts, because the delays are causing some serious issues for them.
Yeah, let's talk more about that. Who suffers because of this?
Yeah. These are not just cases or case files. These are people, and I think the top of the list are people who are incarcerated. Most of the folks who are sitting in jails around the country, and certainly here in New York City, are charged with a crime. They haven't been convicted yet of a crime, if ever. And so they are awaiting trial in jail, and now, because of this crisis, are sitting in jail for much longer than they were prior to COVID. And in a place like New York City, that means folks are sitting in Rikers Island, and a place just renowned for violence and horrible conditions. So those folks, I would say, at the very top of the list. And then there are victims and survivors as well, who have been waiting for their case, for this matter to be resolved. To find closure, whether that's accountability or healing. In addition to the people who are harmed at this moment, I think people should care about the integrity of our justice system. And the reality is, the longer a case goes on for all parties, the more attenuated the whole purpose of our criminal justice system is, whether, again, it's accountability, whether it's proving one's innocence, whether it's healing and rehabilitation. Before COVID, we had worked with the court system here in New York. We have a close relationship with them and helping them to tackle issues, improve the administration of justice here in New York City. And so case delay was one issue that we agreed we wanted to focus on. So in Brooklyn, we looked at felony cases. These are serious cases, the most serious kinds of offenses, and sought to try to reduce the amount of time that it took for a case to resolve. The reality of our justice system is that judges may be in control of their courtrooms and courthouses, but they're not in control of the whole system. There's an ecosystem of independent agencies that are all working as part of this system, and it's an incredibly complex institution. What we did is really what I consider a sort of data-driven approach and a consensus-building approach to come up with what was a simple idea, but again, not simple to implement because of how complex the system is. So sort of three simple components. One was no wasted court dates, no wasted court appearances, no wasted time. Every court date needed to have a purpose and to move the case forward. The second thing we did was just simply look at what needed to be done in between each court date and tailor the amount of time that the case was adjourned for, or the next court date. So it wasn't a sort of one-size-fits-all, every next court date is 30 days. We looked at what do we want to accomplish during that time, and how long is that going to take? And that's the adjournment date. And then the last thing is case conferencing. So just simple idea. If cases aren't getting resolved, if something is being delayed, if we can't figure out how to resolve this case, whether it's a trial or plea, let's have a conference and work through those issues. Again, very simple, but something that was not happening with any regularity here. So the outcomes of the pilot were that in 6 months, cases resolved 50% of the time compared to 40% of the time, which was a modest increase. But what we really saw were significant decreases in case delay when you looked at over 10 months. So cases resolved in 10 months 80% of the time compared to 60% of the time before the pilot, which is a significant improvement. It's exciting that the governor has taken an interest in this issue, and Governor Hochul asked the Center for Court Innovation to work with her and her office, as well as the court system, to really take, again, the learnings from this pilot, as well as looking at the backlog of cases that have piled up, and seeing what we can do across the city to make institutional and cultural change, to start to really put a dent in the backlog, as well as build a system for the future.